History hides one pattern almost nobody notices. The six-stage revolution cycle nobody escapes repeats again and again. Once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Every revolution promises freedom, justice, and hope. Yet the same six-stage revolution quietly returns, changing faces but never changing its ending. This is not about one country or one century. It is about a cycle hidden inside history, waiting for every generation to repeat the same mistake. Watch carefully, because the final stage reveals why revolutions so often become the very systems they once promised to destroy, completing the cycle once again. Stage 1 begins with frustration. People slowly lose trust, hope fades, and ordinary problems suddenly feel impossible to ignore any longer. Small complaints become shared conversations. Shared conversations become movements. The six-stage revolution always starts before anyone notices. Stage 2 arrives quietly. A powerful idea spreads faster than fear, convincing millions that real change is finally within their reach today. Leaders appear, symbols unite crowds, and belief becomes stronger than doubt. History begins moving faster than anyone expects or controls. The old rulers fall, celebrations erupt, and people believe the hardest part is over. History reveals the real test is only just beginning. Removing power is easier than replacing it. Hope reaches its highest point, while hidden cracks quietly prepare the next stage of the cycle. Stage 3 begins. Victory leaves a power vacuum, and every group becomes convinced its own vision is the only road to a better future. Allies become rivals, trust begins fading, and yesterday's united voices slowly split into competing ideas that demand complete control. Power never stays empty for long. Someone always steps forward, promising order, stability, and protection from growing uncertainty. Stage 4 transforms hope into authority. Emergency decisions become permanent rules, while freedom quietly gives way to stronger control. People accept new limits because fear feels more dangerous than losing small freedoms. The cycle quietly grows stronger as resistance slowly fades away. Questioning leaders slowly becomes unacceptable. Loyalty matters more than debate, and criticism is treated as a threat to progress. New rules appear, stronger control follows, and criticism becomes harder to accept, all in the name of protecting progress and stability. The six-stage revolution cycle repeats because power always discovers new ways to protect itself, no matter who holds it. History changes the faces, but never the pattern. Stage 5 begins when disappointment quietly replaces excitement. The promises remain, but reality no longer matches the original dream. Frustration slowly returns, trust breaks again, and the next generation starts asking the same questions that began the first revolution. Stage 6 completes the cycle. A new elite takes power, certain this system is different. Yet history quietly prepares to repeat the same pattern once again. The faces change, the slogans change, yet the structure remains strangely familiar. The six-stage revolution begins preparing another cycle. Every generation believes it is different. History quietly disagrees, repeating the same lessons for those willing to notice the pattern. The six-stage revolution cycle nobody escapes survives because human nature changes far more slowly than governments, flags, or leaders. Real power often comes from understanding patterns before they repeat. Most people recognize them only after the outcome becomes obvious. Breaking the cycle begins with awareness. Once you recognize each stage, manipulation becomes harder and better choices become possible. History is not a perfect circle, yet its echoes are impossible to ignore. Every revolution leaves behind quiet clues, waiting for those who choose to see them. The question is not whether change will come. The real question is whether we'll recognize the pattern before quietly begins again. If this pattern surprised you, imagine how many more remain hidden in plain sight, silently shaping the world while almost nobody ever notices them. Subscribe for more hidden history, forgotten patterns, and powerful ideas. The next story may completely change how you see the world.